Artist path, and I'm setting up. We'll get started in just a few minutes. All right. Here we are, and today is Monday, and I am so excited to share with you some fun gifts today, some gift ideas. So, here we go. I might be all over the place, but I am actually creating something. Visionaryartistpath.com. And here we go. So, what I'm actually creating today is a small painting. Ultimately, that's the end product, and it's going to be based on. It's going to be similar to this. I'm using Gustav Klint's Tree of Life from 1905 as my idea, off of which I am going to paint or create a painting, and I'm going to use 12 by 18 watercolor. Watercolor 140-pound paper. So let me just grab a sheet out of here. Okay. And I'm going to be painting this with acrylics and gouache and watercolor, but I'm also going to be making some embellishments to hang on my tree. I'm going to be making some Christmas balls using acrylic ink. So that's going to be fun. But what we're going to do here first is prep our page the intentional creativity way and set it off to the side to dry and go to the embellishment and return back and forth and back and forth. So what I want to do here is I want to start off by putting my intention down, and my intention is and I'm using green watercolor pencil. I wish to bring joy and happiness to all who view this holiday tree, holiday Yule tree. I'm going to call it a Yule tree. Instead of a Yule log, it's going to be a Yule tree. Okay. And then to my muse, please show me, show me, show me. Love, Kisma. All right. Then I do want to put a layer of gesso over this. This is not mixed media today. This is more along the lines of some intentional creativity and some regular artistry. So all I'm doing is putting my gesso down. Okay, it's just white gesso. And where's my brush? Where'd my brush go to? I want a big brush. I'm going to use a craft brush for this, a large craft brush, just so I can spread it. And I'm just going to get it over to seal the paper. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because this is watercolor paper, and watercolor paper does have a tendency to absorb the moisture of your paints, and I want to use acrylic, so I want to have a nice finished surface, knowing that the vibrancy of the colors I choose will actually stay on the surface rather than get absorbed inside. I need a little bit more. And just so you know, this gesso is a professional, from a professional strength gesso, a liquid text, very large. I get it in bulk. I get it in very large containers. Very thick paste. It's perfect for when you do a large canvas, when you prime a large canvas. So it's very opaque. But when I do small projects like this, or when I'm doing my mixed media layers, I take a bottle that's a pour top bottle, and I put in about a third of that heavy gesso, and then I actually water it down, and shake it up. And I do this because in my mixed media art, I don't mind if bottom layers show through. And so if it's too thick and opaque, it completely will eliminate what's underneath it. Liquid text also creates what's called a basic gesso, and it's already pre-made like this. So that would be the one you might think about getting. The professional liquid text bottle, this size, is also kind of watered down. It's not like the thick, heavy body gesso that I get in the bucket. Okay, so I'm going to now set this off to the side and let it dry, and we will come back to this. So what I'm going to share with you today in the process of making my little embellishment ornaments for my tree is how to work with alcohol ink. And so I've got a couple of ideas to show you that I've done in the past. These right here that I'm going to lay out, they're actually coasters. They're old, so they're well used, well loved. But I'll actually demonstrate how to make these and show you the products that you would use. They make a wonderful gift. And what this is kind of a ranunculus flower. You can make any kind of design. You can, this right here where the paint was coming off, I didn't finish it properly or good enough. And in fact, on this one either, you can see little spots where on some of them the paint started to peel. And that's because I didn't put a heavy enough base varnish coat on it. Hi, Shael, welcome. It's good to see you. I already started one part, so that's set off to dry. And what I'm going on to right now is I'm going to be painting a canvas, my final, it's a winter Yule tree, and I'm going to be putting on it the embellishment of alcohol ink Christmas tree ornaments to hang on it. So while I have put my intention onto the canvas, the substrate, not canvas, and I've covered it in a layer of gesso, I've set that off now to dry. And so now I'm going to work a little bit with the alcohol inks and then go back to that once I check and it's dry. So I'm just showing some gift ideas, and some gift ideas are these little tiles right here. They're cup holders. And I'm going to show you how to make one of these and the materials that you work with, and how to finish it off properly. And then I'm going to make my embellishment sheet, set that off to dry, and we'll come back. So in fact, what I'm going to do is make that first. I'm going to make my embellishment first, and then we will come back. So to make my embellishments, all I'm using are some mylar or stencil materials. You can get them in sheets like this. All right. And this is just a blank stencil making sheet. And it's transparent, as you can see. There are mylar sheets and that are very opaque. You can't see through them. But for my kind, which is fine too for ornaments. It's actually probably better for the ornaments. I should probably pull that out wherever that is and work on that. Where did I put that? It's somewhere in here. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so here's a deeper mylar, a more opaque mylar, and much thicker than the stencil making sheets. And these are just, this is actually titled as mylar, so you can, they're very good to work on. I don't necessarily need a whole sheet for what I'm doing, so let me just cut a portion of, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm making Christmas tree ornaments, and ultimately they're going to end up being circles, or they're going to be little dangles. So I'm not going to draw I could draw the shapes on right now. So for example, a circle, and they don't need to be so large, really they don't. Or a dangle, that's kind of in a teardrop, So those are the two shapes that I'm looking for my little tree. And they're not going to be any bigger than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my my alcohol inks that I'm choosing. This is an alcohol blending solution, which I'll show you in a moment. But this is just a good blending pad when you work with the different colors. The other thing that's really good to work with are your Q-tips. So, all right, I'm not going to work with the Q-tips. I'll show you how to work with them on here. So all I'm going to do here, on here, I'm just going to make a couple of puddles of just a few choices of colors. So I'm going to put this down first to give it a foundation. Okay, and it's now on my felt. And then I think I'm going to go with some, this is purple twilight. And I'm going to just drop it in here. And for now, I'm just going to, I'm not making a design. I'm just adding colors, okay? So I'm just going to kind of move that around. And I want to bring in some denim on this one. So I'm making some stripes here. And of course, when colors get together and blend, they have an overlapping. This is a foundation, or what's called a base. And then we'll add on layers on top of it. And I think I have a terracotta here. Where's my terracotta? Oh. Alcohol inks, here's the thing about them too. They're alcohol. And actually when you're working with them, you can leave them uncapped. The nozzle has been designed to where they stay pretty, they don't dry out. We think of alcohol as drying out, but they don't. And Tim Holtz, who designed alcohol inks, actually when he demonstrates, when you watch him, he'll suggest that you don't cap your alcohol inks. And also it doesn't matter if you mix and match your lids. What was I saying? I was looking for terracotta. Here we go. I'm going to put a little terracotta right there and blend that in and let this base dry. And then once that base dries, we'll actually come and put more colors on top of it. So I'm going to put another base here. You can see how when I smear it, I've got some of the colors from that coming in. So that makes it kind of cool because it already forms. Now I don't want to go with greens. I'm not going to go with greens. I have this bottle here. I wonder what this bottle color looks like. This is a new color. Let's see. Oh, it's a green. It is a green. Okay. Let's put it over here. Let's bring in some of this stream. It's really a dark blue. It's pretty. It's like a blue-green. Okay. So all I'm going to do is dab them like this. And what it starts to do is it blends them, but it also creates some very cool designs inside of them. And this is actually a technique that Tim Holtz shares with us called dabbing your alcohol inks. And see how cool what it gives us. Okay. I'm going to come back over here to this one because this is going to be more than I need to make my little Christmas tree ornaments. But I want these to dry before I put any more layers on them. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play. We're going to play and we're going to make a couple of tiles. Cup holders for Christmas. What do you need? Well, I have cork on the bottom so that they don't slip. These you can buy at the craft store. And they're self-adhesive, so if I can get one out. So you can see they're nice, pre-cut, and you can buy, these are 4x4s. These are, I think, 3.5 by 3.5. So they're perfect for this size of tile. This is just a basic tile that you get. Comes like this. You buy a quantity of them. And these are glazed ceramic tiles. So let me just make I'll just make one for now. These make really wonderful gifts because you can do them in sets of 4 and pass them as a gift to somebody. I'm going to go ahead and just put the cork on the bottom now. You can see it's rigid, so you have to press down into it, but it's a adhesive backing. It's pretty strong. You can get perfect with a ruler if you want, or eyeball it like I do, and then you just press it down into the crevices of the pattern on the bottom of the tile, and that helps it to stick. And you can fill it. And then it'll fill back out and become all uniform, but when you're putting it down for the first time, definitely press it in. So like I said, I'm going to show you how to make a ranunculus flower or blossom. They're really simple, but they're pretty. Okay. Let me clean this off real quick. I had some muck on my hands. Okay, so you get a pack, it's either, I think it's 12 or 15. I don't remember how many comes in the pack. But it gives you enough that if you have a family and you guys do gift exchanges, although this year is very difficult for that, but they're kind of lightweight. I mean, to actually box up 4 and mail them, you're looking at about a pound. So, you know, you have to take that into consideration. But if you're going to drop them off at somebody's house or hand deliver them, they don't weigh anything. But a set of 4 is perfect. They're great for a coffee table. They're even great for a dining room table. I use mine on the dining room, so they get a lot of use. And I only have a 4-seater table. But you can see I made the mistake of not doing my finish heavy enough. On some of them, no problem. On others, bits and pieces started to come off. You can see here, you know. Now I can fix that. That's fixable. Little tiny pieces, it's fixable. But I don't mind. I'm kind of a shabby chic gal, so I don't mind when things are loved and used. So they don't bother me so much. All right. So for this, we're going to actually use Q-tips. But let me just get a clean felt here. You can get these felts by bulk. I reuse mine. If I'm working with the same colors, I reuse mine. So don't think you don't have to. Is that wet? I don't want to get any color down when I do my felt. Now you don't have to use these. You can actually use a brush to spread. And I'm going to do two tones, 2 colors. You only need 2 colors for the flower, and then one color for the background. And so I'm going to do purple. I'm going to work with Purple Twilight, and maybe I'm going to work with let's see, I don't know. We'll see if it works, good. The Purple Twilight and this terracotta. But for the background, I think I want to bring in something light, of course. So I'll bring in this sandal. Okay, I'll bring in the sandal. So once you're ready, you got your cork on, you're ready to begin, you give a good spritz of the blender and just move it around all over. You need it to be all over the surface. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to go along the edge with our background color. And you could see what it does is it just makes a nice gentle background color that doesn't take away, won't take away from the flower. Just go around your edges. It doesn't have to be uniform. Okay. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to start with the lighter color. Oh my God, look at that. This bottle has some dirt on it. It fell right into there. So it's changed my color just a tiny bit. That's okay. Okay, so you take your Q-tip, right? And you, let me put a paper towel down underneath it because it does drip. And you get your Q-tip nice and dark. And then you begin swirling. And this outer, we want it to be light. Then we're going to put a row of that. I have hair on this. So this is just getting some lighter edges started around the outside, because if you ever look at a flower, it's darker on the inside, it's lighter on the outside. The colors kind of blend together. Okay, that's a good foundation. So we'll let that dry and then we'll come back and we'll do the layers of petals. So you can kind of see there's a foundation underneath. We let it dry and then we come back and we start doing the petals. So I rather like that for my foundation. I've got enough variation on the outside to where when I get dark on the inside, it'll be fine. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and I'll show you this. This is actually this material was given to me last year by a student who gave me a box of craft items. She moved here from New York, and she had a arts and crafts store in New York that shut down, and she showed up at my house one day with boxes of supplies. And so these are cool plates that you can work with, okay, and make tiny little things, little art pieces with. You can't incorporate them into anything else because they're too stiff, but they're perfect for kind of demonstrating with. So what I did was, all I did here was I took I made a background of water, and then I just put, like, I don't know what kind of flower that is, and I'm gonna paint on here some green leaves. I don't know if this green will show up. I might have to use acrylic paint for that, but let's give it a try. This might be too dark though. But we'll try. Yeah, it's too dark. I thought it would be. But I might as well try it, right? Right? Okay, let me grab the paint, the green paint real quick. Be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna just take, this is just Amsterdam acrylic paint. And I'm just gonna take it and do a couple of nice little leaves on here. So I'm doing it darker to give a nice foundation. I'll let that dry, and then I'll come in with another green. Okay, then let's put one down over here. Now, stuff like this, I don't know, I don't like this kind of material. You could put a little wire or beaded hanger on it. They could hang it on their wall if you make it as a gift for somebody. Okay, we'll let that dry. I realize I say, oh, okay, okay, a lot. So. I'm just adding a little texture to my leaves so that when I come in and add the second color, there's variation. Now while that dries, we can go back to our tile. Is this dry? Not yet. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at my ornaments so that we can move forward in this week's project. So this is all nice and dry. And I'm thinking now I want to just bring in a few accents. Actually, I'm not. I'm used to looking at students saying, okay, live, to get that check-in of you understand what I'm saying here or what I'm demonstrating. And it's such a bad habit of checking in because I'm so used to having taught in a live art studio. And you're forever, when you're teaching with live in-person students, you're showing and looking at them going, okay, making sure they understand it, they get it before you move on. And it's part of my vocabulary now, I guess, when I demonstrate. It just comes right in. It's really kind of funny. So what I'm going to do in these two areas is I'm going to bring in a lighter color, and I'm going to bring in a Surreal Orange right here. And I'm going to bring that, oh my God, look at these. Some of these bottles I haven't used since my last, and alcohol ink. The lids though, make sure your lids don't have juice in it before you cap them. That's one important thing I've learned. That's what, when you open them, that's what creates the little particles. And if that particle were to fall in that while it's wet, it would definitely be reabsorbed into the colors. So I'm just bringing some orange in, and I'm just kind of letting it do its thing. I don't want real hard lines around the edges, so that's why I'm tapping them out. For anybody in Viewerland who does acrylic pours, alcohol inks is a mini version of acrylic pours. Except we don't pour the paint, we don't pour the ink all together like in acrylic pours. You put your layers of paint in your cup and then tip it upside down onto your substrate and let it pour, right? And create its patterns. With acrylic ink, you can do that, yeah, but it can make for some real messy environments. And if you're just going for a psychedelic look, yeah, no problem. Just pour them all on at the same time. That'll work. Now with these, okay, see, okay, there you go. I'm gonna add just another splotch of color in them. And I'm doing the drop with those so that those can spread the way they want to. These are still kind of wet, but we'll put them in anyways. And see what'll happen is some of my circle ornaments will have parts of the different colors. Now all I'm going to do is dab them so that they get dispersed. Ah, see, this color is too dark. The orange and the, there. Let's try this one. Okay, see, that's dried just the right amount because it's doing a marbled effect. So my Christmas tree ornaments are not going to be red or blue or traditional colors. They're going to be art colors. Yay, art colors. Let that dry, and then I'll come in with one more color on top. Okay, this one got really messy, but it's still, we can still fix it. All right, last thing on the other one, which hopefully the acrylic paint is now dry. Oh, well, let's come back to this one. I forget what color I was using. Was it Wild Plum and Terracotta, I think? Yeah, there's terracotta. Nope, this is a different color. I didn't use this one. I must have used the purple. I must have grabbed the purple. I must have grabbed this one. Purple Twilight. Let's see if it was Purple Twilight. We'll have a little tiny bit of different color in there. Yeah, it is pretty, yeah. Okay, so in the beginning, I'm just going to recap because I'm almost coming to the end of this. In the beginning, I saturated the top of a Q-tip and went around and made some very light, did a few circles, very light, but I just saturated Q-tips. I let that dry. Now I'm coming back in, and the first layer, I put 3 drops in the center, used the Q-tip and I pushed it out, and then 3 drops, pushed it out, and then 2 drops, pushed it out, and this is actually 2 different colors of 2 drops each, and pushed it out. Now I'm going to bring in this, what's it called? Terracotta, and I'm just going to hopefully put 1 drop. These come out fast sometimes. There we go, 1 drop, and I'm going to push that out. And then I'm going to put 1 drop of the Twilight, hopefully. 1 drop, there we go. And I'm going to push that out. It's gotten a little off center, but that's okay. You can hear it drying under the swirling. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop this and let it come out in its circle. And I'm going to set that off to dry. Maybe I'll put one drop of the terracotta in the middle. And now I'm going to just set that off to the side to dry. I messed this up completely. But once it dries, we'll come in and fix that, okay? Now, I want to come back to my ornaments if they're dry. I'm at the last color. Let's see if this is a nice color that blends. See, it's too dark. You can tell it's too dark. Maybe I'll bring in a white. Maybe I'll bring in a white. And we'll see, now this isn't an acrylic ink. I'll show you what this is in just a sec. It acts and behaves similar to an acrylic ink, but it doesn't spread. It's called a mixative, and this one is called Snow Cap. And it's great because what it does is it highlights, and it it's Tipex. No, it's not an alcohol ink. It's mixative, Snow Cap mixative. But you can see what it does in the alcohol ink. It creates some lighter points. I'm sorry, I don't always get the chat. I don't get, because I'm my focus is so different, in such a different place. Okay, so I think what we're going to do right now is come back to let's look at what our painting is going to be. I'm going to put these off to, oh, no, that's still wet. We'll let that continue to dry. Plastic substrate takes so long to dry. And I hate using, I do hate using blow dryers on it because the plastic heats up and I don't know, I think it's gross. Makes a weird smell and emits fumes, and so for things like that, I think it's better to just let it dry naturally. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the original portion of this. We've played enough with this for ornaments. You can do all kinds of things with acrylic ink. I'm teaching a class right now called Into Fairyland, and we have a whole session that will be working with acrylic inks for a specific reason. And what ends up, what will come out is actually quite beautiful. And they will love it. But it's really good for ornaments. Otherwise, you're getting acrylic pores. It's great for accents and a lot of fun, a lot of fun, but messy. So let me do a station identification while I go grab my substrate. I'll be right back. VisionaryArtistPath.com. I'm wiping my hands. You can hear me off in the distance. I'm using a baby wipe. So I think acrylic inks, when you work with them in layers, you can get a really cool stained glass effect. So you can also, if you're working with the transparent stuff, pour them down and let them create their patterns, and then you can go in with markers, a Sharpie, and designate, like create a shape out of it, and it can have the appearance of stained glass, and those are cool. Those are cool. Okay, I think I'm clean. By George, I think I'm clean. I hope I'm clean. Now, Jael, I know once when I first demonstrated several months ago acrylic inks or alcohol inks, you said my girlfriend doesn't like the smell of them. And I hope that that doesn't stop you. I hope that doesn't stop you because they're so much fun. Okay. Okay, here we are. I got my substrate. Pushing everything out of the way. So this is for a holiday virtual exhibit, and you can see my intention was put down a layer of nice gesso, not thick but opaque, was put down. And so now I'm working with the Gustav Klimt Tree of Life design that is modified, of course, and not his Tree of Life, but based on his 1905 Tree of Life. So what I'm going to do is I want to just take some, God, I don't have enough room here. I've got too many things crowding. Give me just a sec. And let me check the chat. But I have found out they don't smell. No, they don't smell bad at all. I don't think they do. I mean, if you put the bottle up to your nose, sure. Tell your girlfriend to stop huffing them. I'm teasing. Okay. Let me put all of this. Okay. So. So what I'm going to do, my Tree of Life, okay, so I'm going to do a basic outline, and I'm using an Ecoline brush pen, okay, and this is water soluble, so I'm just doing a basic outline of my tree. And remember, this might be a Tree of Life, but it is a Yule tree, okay? So let's see, I'll make my trunk about here. And then I'll bring my my root system out to about here. I want a nice thick root here. And then we'll make the other root go like this with the tiny root right there. Now up to our branches. Now his branches are pretty cool because they come out and they come into spirals. And mine aren't going to be full-on spirals like his. Maybe one will, in honor of Gustav Klimt's Tree of Life. Oops, I went off the canvas. So that's going to be the basic shape of my painting. And then of course I'll have my landscape somewhere in here. And then I'm going to have my ornaments dangling from everywhere. So that's the basic outline. So what do I want to use? What medium do I want to use? Maybe I will use gouache on this. Okay, so this is layer 3 now. So I'm going to put on layer 4. There's going to end up being about 7 layers on this by the time I get finished with it. So clearly I'm not doing everything today. I'll continue working on it on Thursday, as well as the tile stuff, the demonstration for the tile and stuff like that. Okay, now gouache. If you don't know anything about it, it is it's in the watercolor family. It's probably the most elementary form of paint you can get. In kindergarten, you get it in big bottles, and it's very opaque. You don't need a lot of water. You do need some. So all I do when I want to start painting with it is I give a little spritz to my containers. And that little spritz is more than enough water to begin with, and a wet brush. And it's so much darker than tomatoes. I know it's a French word, but I hear it said so many different ways that, to be perfectly honest, I don't worry about it. It's gouache. So that's the easiest way. Most people know when you say it because they all say it differently too. I cannot tell you how many variations of this medium. Okay, I've heard it. So I want to make my Yule tree not green, not brown. I want to make it a combination of colors. And I really, really, really do want to make it, I know, right? I really do want to I want to kind of have some blue in it. This I'm going to make a puddle. I'm going to make me a little mixture right here. So I want to have some blue in it. Going to add a little bit of white. Now my ornaments are turquoise. They'll be predominantly turquoise and purple. So let me just put a little white here. And bring that in. And I want to put just a little tiny bit of, oh, that's a pretty color. That might be a nice foundation color because it's kind of a gray blue. I like that a lot. Okay, let me get some of this down. In intentional creativity also, we do what's called the glow. So you'll often not see me go all the way up to lines, but when I do, it's okay. So homemade gifts at the holiday time, they're really nice. They really are nice to have. And sharing with people your creativity is a beautiful form of gift giving. And we forget that people always want something manufactured that they see in a commercial on TV or on the internet. And I think as artists, I mean, I know I've been doing this for most of my life. My gifts are always homemade. I every now and then will buy something pre-made if I have to. But I do believe that the true gift is giving something created. And yes, I know our family, our loved ones might often go, oh, I don't want another painting of yours. But the people who don't live with you in your household, that you give a gift too. They love it. Like, I believe I have an account, Kisma Riedling, on Fine Arts America, and I have some of my older watercolor work, and I'm now putting my intentional creativity work on there. But you can have your painting put onto tote bags and notebooks and towels and blankets. And last year, I actually gave everyone in my family a blankie with, during the course of the year, the painting they had oohed and awed over the most. So that they wrap themselves up now in that little blankie when they're watching TV or, and I think that's a cool thing. I gave tote bags to my girlfriends last year, and I gave pillows, a whole set of pillows of my watercolor flowers to my mom, because she loved my watercolor paintings, and I had done a couple of oil paintings for her. And so, she puts those out proudly on her couch and gets to show, this is my daughter, the artist. But the thing about Fine Art America also is that people can order prints of your work if they want to hang it on the wall, but they don't have the resources to buy the original, because I sell my originals at market value. So a lot of people don't realize that there is a market value for paintings. Okay, I'm changing the color up just a tiny, tiny bit. Oh, maybe not. I guess I put too much white in. Again. Okay. So I'm going to stop here, because clearly you don't really need to watch me paint in the rest of this. It gets kind of boring. You get the idea. This is the first layer. And once I have my first layer of paint in, then I'll come in and do a second layer, and a third layer and a fourth layer. And then, of course, I have the background and everything to do. And I think I will have it all painted this color by Thursday. And I might bring in a second color into the tree, into the trunk and the branches and the roots. But it'll pretty well be one color or two tone. Okay. So with that said, I am going to stop right here and invite you to have fun creating. And have fun, really. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. It's Moon Day, the beginning of the week. And here in America, next week is Thanksgiving. It's a national holiday for us. It's our big national holiday. So, most Americans stop working. Now, I want to do one thing before I say goodbye, too. This is station identification, of course, Kisma at visionaryartistpath.com. But here's my little commercial. Get ready for those of you watching out there in viewerland, and visit the website often, maybe subscribe to it to get the notice. But I will be having my first time ever Black Friday one-day sale, and I will have incredible discounts, and I will have some bundles that will be there. And a lot of this will feature my new Visionary Artist Path class series that consists of, that in total is a 9-month journey. And also next year, I am kicking off a Cosmic Smash book, either 9 or 12 month, I haven't decided yet, excuse me, in the fairy faith. So it will go through, it's like undergoing a spiritual apprenticeship with me. Now, I want to share something. I'm going to get on a soapbox just a little bit for a reason. I last night got on late on my mail folder. I say mail wrong, I know, or weirdly. And looked at all the emails that had come in over the weekend, because I tend not to look at that kind of stuff over the weekend. I'm pretty bad, unless I'm waiting for an email with some information from somebody or some group or whatever. And I counted 5, which to me is a large number, of email invitations by artists out in the world community inviting me to come and fix my soul. And it's all everybody is out there pitching to you that you're messed up, your soul needs correcting. And I realized, you know what? How many soulful programs do we need? Yes, there are aspects of spirituality and soulfulness to our programs. And painting as an artist, when you're, and please, I'm not offended, I don't want to offend anybody, but when you're a real painter and it's your life, it's your lifestyle, it's your life path, it becomes very spiritual, it becomes very soulful, because there's just no other way to do it. However, I am next year in 2021 I'm going to offer my programs, and one I call an apprenticeship and the other one I call a journey, but my big bundles. But I'm going to tell you something. It's also about painting, it's about creativity, and it's about spirituality. And I don't want to fix your soul. Only you can fix your soul. But I will give you some tools of transformation that you personally can work with if you choose to work with. But my intention for 2021 is to be creative and have fun, and in the course of doing that, to join in in a small community with other artists that you feel a kinship with. So for me, it's not about quantity. I don't want hundreds of people. I'm happy. I'm happy with a handful of just really beautiful, beautiful kindred spirits. That to me is so satisfying. So even though I shoot out and send out all my notices to all these people everywhere through various social media and advertising programs, it's always just looking for that handful. And I have to say right now, I have almost a handful of some beautiful, incredible women joining me as we create together, because that's what it is. We create together. And in 2021, I want to have some guest appearances in some of my classes. So I'm putting that out there to those of you who might come to Black Friday, because it's only one day. It's only one day. And buy some of my bundles for next year. If you are an artist and you create on a regular basis and you have something that you really want to share, I will invite you to have a guest appearance in one of my classes. So it's not just about me, it's about all of us. So thank you for watching, viewers. And follow me, come to visionaryartistpath.com. Subscribe to that website so you get the special notices, because that's one of the places where I put real special offers on an ongoing basis. And I will see you on Thursday. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.